gosh.
Yes, guys. Okay, that really cut out in a bad way. We're still working on that intro, but welcome to my personal channel. Welcome back to another live stream. We are back to winning ways, granted, not in the most beautiful of circumstances, but after the last week, we aren't going to be picky about it. We just wanted to take a W and walk off with it, and that is exactly what we did. And in this video, we're going to be discussing Chelsea, West Ham. We're also going to be discussing a few talking points, as you guys have seen from the title as well. We're going to be talking about Timo Werner and his drop in form over the last few weeks. Going to end things as well with a little discussion about the Arsenal game coming up on Saturday, because I know everyone's excited for that. But before I start anything, I do have to intro my guest. You guys already know him, but I'm going to intro him anyway. Craigo, what are you telling me, man?
That's all you need to know.
All you
need to know.
Big up Jordan as well with the back.
Big up Jordan.
But yeah, Chelsea versus West Ham. We spoke about it for a little bit on the live phone, and we didn't delve into it too much, because especially with how long that stream went for. It went on for hours. Big up the regular as well, Nippon. What are you telling me, man? But yeah, Chelsea versus West Ham. Like we said, not the greatest of performances, but we had wanted to see Chelsea grind out a result, and I think it's the first time this season where we've seen us have an ugly win this season. So what was your early thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed. You know, I said it to you yesterday. I wasn't impressed with how we played in any particular regard. I don't think they had a shot on target, which is some positive to take away from it, but maybe that says a bit more about them than it does us. So there was definitely positives to take away. But I thought necessarily going forward, we weren't wonderful. And I think obviously a big part of Chelsea's game is kind of going forward and being free flowing. And there's been a lot of obviously hype going around about going forward. I mean, there's been 6 or 7 signings this summer. Half of them have been in the forward areas. Even our fullback is about going forward. Obviously, he got injured yesterday, which is a little bit of a bummer, which obviously wouldn't have helped. But I'd like to have seen Chelsea kick on. I said to my mate before the game, many of my mates before the game, and said, Chelsea go ahead, we could really, really romp home to victory, and we could go and really stake a claim for why we are title contenders. And we just kind of stopped getting out of the gates a little bit, if you know what I mean. It was and then no. And that was really quite annoying after a while. It really was.
Yeah, I think a big part of that was, and you'll probably agree with this on as well, is the Ben Chilwell injury, because that was half the reason why we end up losing a massive sub straight after that. We know Frank Lampard is late with his substitutions anyway, but that also means he has to be very, very frugal with his substitutions going forward, which is also half the reason why this is like the one game where I'm not going to sit here and moan about Frank Lampard's substitutions. Also with the fact that we won 3-0. But yeah, that must have had a big impact on the change of our game plan, because as Piliqueta, he was good going forward, but he didn't burst forward as much. It was the same thing as Emerson. They haven't really got the same leg work as a Ben Chilwell or a Reece James does, and we do understand that, but it definitely had an impact on our game plan.
Yeah, I mean, Chilwell's 24, I think he was the other day. Yesterday, wasn't it, even as well? And then Emerson.
Birthday?
Yeah, I think it was his birthday yesterday.
Correct.
Yeah, no, Chilwell's 24. Emerson, I actually don't know how old he is, but he's a lot older. And then obviously Reece James being 21 and Dave being in his 30s. You were never going to be able to attack with the same impetus and the same style that we wanted to. But having said that, you know, even with the wide players and such, I still think we didn't necessarily do that well, even without them. I don't think we created enough through the middle. And there was a few people saying it on my live stream. I don't know if they're saying it on yours. But we kind of, when we attack, it was very much the same thing. Wide, cross into the box, see what happens. That didn't happen yesterday, and we kind of attacked in different ways. But even all of our goals still involved the ball going wide at some point. Obviously, it was a corner, the first one, but the ball still went wide, and then we won the corner. Things along those lines. We're a good side, but I think sometimes we can be a little bit one-dimensional. And I think, to be fair, with the Reece James and Reece James, not an injury, a scan that he's needed, and then Chilwell going out, it kind of made us play a little bit differently, which was semi-nice to see, but it still didn't work. So it's far from perfect, but there is somewhat of a positive to take out of it. The only difference is the third goal, where Pulisic just kept running and running and running, and then obviously it kind of broke to us with a little bit of luck. But I still think we just need different ways to play, and I think that's more of a personnel thing than it is a particular system thing.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Pulisic, I do want to touch on him. Credit to him, because he was getting dragged towards the left-hand side, the right-hand side, the entire side, and compared to a Wolves game, it didn't really have a lot of an impact on his performances. If anything, he was probably the one driving forward the most, and he was our best attacking threat going forward.
Yeah.
Could have kept his head up a little bit more when progressing the play, but that's just me nitpicking. Other than that, I think he was probably our best player going forward in the attack.
Yeah, I think also, that I said it to you on the phone in yesterday, but the one where Werner, it got stuck underneath his feet, and then he just kind of stabbed it at oh my God, what's the keeper's name? Fabianski?
Fabianski, yeah.
He's just kind of stabbed it at Fabianski. Pulisic should have released the ball earlier there, and I was kind of a little bit moany about it. But actually, in hindsight, if the front three are regularly playing together, he knows to release that ball earlier. And Pulisic is still kind of getting back into the team as well. He isn't perfect. He isn't fully fit yet, and kind of mentally 100%. So I'm not too worried. Plus, obviously, with Werner having to play wide as well, that changes the dynamic. But when we've got the front three of Werner, Ziyech, and Pulisic, we're a really nice side. We really, really are good. And it was a bit strange. I don't know if you saw it floating around on Twitter today. They were talking about Chelsea's targets for the summer.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people start talking about it now. We're getting to that point of the window, aren't we?
Yeah, we're getting to that point in the window, and of course, I think playing West Ham last night probably didn't help. But the Declan Rice rumours are right back again, and I think they should be. But the other one I heard was Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland's popped his name round again, and I don't know whether to believe it or not.
Yeah,
we're not throwing money, but we ain't playing career mode like that.
No, we're hardly Galactico Real Madrid at the moment, are we? I mean, I like what's going on, but I think people are kind of getting a little bit. I don't know if he's getting a little bit of unfair stick, Werner, but you can kind of get the dynamic of what I'm saying. I think we might struggle to play both of them together, and then everyone's kind of going, well, Werner's going to be dropped, and you're kind of going, well, actually, no, Werner's not in a great run of form, and Pulisic is obviously doing his bit as well. But I mean, Werner and Haaland trying to push each other out the team will be a really weird dynamic. And it kind of is like a lot of people want to give up on Timo already. And I mean, we've only seen 10 games of him or so where he's actually playing down the middle in his right position. And I mean, it's worked from what we're seeing. It's worked.
His best game was in the middle against Southampton.
Yeah, and I just like to see a little bit more of Werner, and obviously that's going to come with time. But I think I saw that room, and it just really, really baffled me. Really, really baffled me. Not because of anything against Haaland, but the unfair criticism of Werner, I think it is quite harsh. And I think it's a whole front three problem, whichever three of the players are in our forward line. I do just think we need to get a little bit more fluid and a little bit more continuous with our game.
Yeah, I think our attacks had a lot of pressure put on it, and I think a big reason for that is going to be the price tag.
Yeah.
That's also half the reason why we can't let rival fans and everything get into our head, because that's exactly what is going to be holding us back. And I think, especially in the case of Timo Werner, there's a massive confidence issue with him. And to be honest, I think we might as well just delve into it right now. That the first half, right? On the right-hand side, we saw exactly what he is capable of. Even if he didn't end up getting the ball in the net, he looked a lot more clinical. He looked a lot more comfortable on that right-hand side than he's ever looked on the left. On the left, though, this guy, it's not the same Timo Werner. The touch isn't there. The control isn't there. The belief in himself isn't there. And what do you think is it? Is it confidence? Is it a lack of confidence in his own abilities, or do you think it's a pressure thing with him?
I actually think it's a lack of confidence from the rest of the team, which sounds a little bit nuts.
Okay, interesting. What do you say? Big up. The team won't look right and won't look like Frank's vision until Pulisic, Timo Werner, and Ziyech. Nice one. I Can't really say the rest, but nice one.
Yeah, no, I think there seems to be a lack of confidence in Werner from some other teammates. Kante, multiple occasions yesterday, driving forward, didn't play the ball to him. Pulisic played the ball at the wrong time to him. And you need to get the confidence from your teammates. If it ain't working for yourself, and clearly there has to be a confidence thing for Timo Werner as well, in terms of, bad touches, hitting the bar, digging one at the keeper. There has to be a confidence thing for him. But
That's
the team has to help him with
the bar more times than anyone else this season.
Yeah, but the team has to help him out with that. He's in the right positions. He's moving in the right ways. If you can get him back down the middle, then I think that's going to help him a lot. And again, when the confidence is in, then who knows what can happen. The turner for the goal against Southampton, I think it was the first one, and then the second one he managed to go over the keeper and head it in and whatever. Yeah. The turn is brilliant. And that is a player with a lot of confidence to just turn like that, bang, really backs his ability, bang, goes. And it's a great goal. And he then backs that up with the second goal, going over the top of the keeper and heading it in. And that's not something he's known for doing, is heading the ball. So he's doing really, really well in that regards. And then 5 seconds later, or a couple of weeks later, the whole team is completely different and he's a complete letdown. That seems to be how it is. There's no middle ground. And I think the main part of it is obviously he's playing out wide. My feelings on him playing out wide. I understand why we're doing it, but doesn't mean it's actually for the best of him. And again, as Jester said, the Super Chat just said then, we will not see the proper Chelsea side until we see the front three that we are expecting of Ziyech, Pulisic, and then Werner down the middle. And when we were playing with that, we were really good. We were really, really good. And we were able to kind of dictate games the way that we wanted to. More recently, it's been a little bit different. I think a lot of people are assuming that Ziyech has to play and then we have to have some big target man for him to whip balls into. But it is what it is. I think we have different styles that we can potentially play, but we have to be able to play our main style for 80% of the fixtures that we have.
Here's the thing, though. We'll say that we have a team that has different styles, but we always like sticking to the same sort of thing. We don't like playing multiple different formations. We always have a plan A, and we stick with that plan A until it doesn't work, and then we switch up after it doesn't work. I feel like we're very reactive in our system, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. But again, also flip side of that, last season we played against Wolves, and I can't remember who the other one was. Early on in the season, Wolves was definitely September. I remember that because I was away. And we surprised everyone and played the three at the back.
Did you say last season?
Yeah, last season, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We surprised everyone, played the three at the back, and we whacked them 5-2. So I think we can do it. It's just a case of I think Frank's got quite a hard task on his hands at the moment. There's a lot of squad depth and people that need to be involved and only want to be involved in certain ways. And that's why I like Timo. He is going to play on the left-hand side. I don't like him there. I don't necessarily think he likes being there, but he's going to play there. He's going to do his job. Very interesting. Yesterday, Callum Hudson-Odoi was on the bench. He was deemed ready enough to play at some particular point. They didn't want to play him at the start. Probably because he was lacking a little bit of minutes and they probably would have hoped to get him on at the end. But now we've got this game coming up against Arsenal. We've got a few more days to be able to rest and whatever. Are we going to see a same look Chelsea side, or are we going to see, something a little bit different? I think a lot of people would probably go, oh, it's very harsh on Tammy to drop him after scoring 2 goals. But me and you can agree on it that we actually weren't that good yesterday with Tammy up front. He was just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
As soon as he did something good, we got 2 goals out of it. But it was like we were waiting for it for a long time. Yeah,
we were. And again, against a different side, those 2 goals never happened because they actually set the ball in the back of the net. So yeah, it's a little bit of a hard, complicated one. But I think we've got the ability to change it up. I just think that maybe we don't know when is the right time to do it. Especially we're trying to, breed these players into the team and bring them into the Premier League and do all these, classic cliche bullshit, analogies of trying to do the best for what's right and everyone. It is what it is. we've got to get these people into the team. Kai Havertz, £72 million, whatever. He needs to get into the Premier League. He didn't play yesterday, and I'll be honest, I thought we played worse when he came on. So there's quite a long way to go. But of course, with the amount of good sides that there are in the Premier League at the moment, we haven't got that long until we actually have to go, right, let's get on with this now. Let's get on with it. We have to play week in, week out, absolutely put our foot down. And not necessarily about only winning the league, but saying about making top four. Because Man United, whether we want to accept it or not, are a decent side. Spurs are a decent side. Liverpool are a decent side. Man City are a decent side. Leicester are a decent side. You know, there's some teams that we're going to have to. Yeah, we've got to beat some teams. We have to beat some teams, and we've still got a few of them to play as well. But yeah, no, we have to be able to stick our foot down at some point and go, right, we're changing it now. You know, if we go 2-0 down, obviously you need to change it. But sometimes if you're 0-0 and you're quite content and whatever, then the Ziyech whipped in ball through to Olivier Giroud for a flick on, that's more likely to win you a game. That kind of thing. That
combo sounds so beautiful. I haven't even seen that yet. Exactly. I don't want to talk too much on it because I've been screaming Giroud and Werner this entire season, and I haven't yet to see anything work out between the pair of them. Mm-hmm. You went on to a nice point, though, and it leads to this. So thank you for the donation as well. Does Frank need to get top 3 this season to be safe? Now, we've already spoken about the amount of competition this season. I don't think it's as black and white as he needs to get top 3 this season to stay safe, especially with the level of competition that we have. But I think if there was a massive sort of bottle job, we finished outside the top 4, then I think there'd be a couple questions about it. But I also think, and this is a very underrated thing that I don't think a lot of people have noticed, Roman Abramovich is a lot calmer in recent years than he was before we won the Champions League. Before we won the Champions League, it was literally whoever, if you don't win the Premier League, you don't get past the Champions League semi-finals, you're sacked. Now it's more, if you can't, we want to see progression. And there was progression. I think there was going to be patience under Maurizio Sarri, but it was all the other issues like him being homesick, the transfer ban, which is the reasons why it never fell through. Antonio Conte had his issues with the board. Jose, that was just that 15-16 season in general. It got to a point where it was just too much. Yeah. But it's a different Roman Abramovich. So do you think it's that sort of case, or are you just echoing the same words?
No, I think we're... I think we're
thank you, man. Raw.
Oh, geez. Get in. Turn on my channel.
Yeah, like and subscribe as well.
Thank you. No, I don't think we necessarily need to. We have to finish in the top 3. I assume we say top 3 because we finished 4th last season. I said to you, I've said it multiple times, progression for me is about points. That's where we should be. You know, we finished on 66. You know, we are about a third of the way through the season so far, and we are still looking at the same thing. Is that another one, or is that the same one?
That's the same one.
Oh, thank God. Jesus Christ.
That would be mad.
Gonna say you'll buy me dinner tomorrow, mate.
Early Christmas present.
Oh, thank you very much. No, I think I think that the progression for Chelsea should be about points rather than about league position. And I think, to be honest with you, if Chelsea managed to finish in the top, let's say just the top 6, we were in Europa League. It wasn't ideal. Let's just say in the worst case scenario, I don't think it's going to happen. But again, who knows? Arsenal are preparing to get relegated, by the way. They're actually making proper plans for it, which was quite funny.
It was a 25% pay cut if they go down or something like
nuts.
that.
It's like 35 million off the wage
bill. The
bill.
only way to get to their players, take the money out, then they'll probably start performing. Although I say that, I don't want to speak into existence because I just deeped we're next.
Yeah, I know. Well, technically, Man City are next for them in about an hour and a half. But
that just makes it more embarrassing if we don't beat them because they play midweek.
No, I think. I mean, the thing for me, we should be getting more points on the board. That should be the main goal. But again, if it doesn't happen, I think Frank's still going to be trusted. And I think that's going to be the mark then, that's season 3. Because we are too good to be in the Europa League. With the squad that we've got, the depth that we've got, the size of the club. We've been in the Europa League twice in recent years, and we've won it on both times.
Both occasions.
Exactly. We've mullered it on both occasions.
Gone.
And I think that should be the benchmark. It should be a case of, well, we are too good for this shit. And I think Frank Lampard will get given the whole season. Even if we did finish outside the top 4, if we win Europa League, which we have to be the favourites for going into it, we should be able to put our foot down and win it. It's a piece of silverware for Frank. If he can't do that, then we start to ask the question. But I don't think it's a case of if we don't finish in the top 3/top 4 this season, that he's going to lose his job. Because as you said, Abramovich has become a lot calmer in recent years. We can't just rattle through managers as we have done previously. This managerial merry-go-round is only so big. You know, Guardiola's just signed a massive contract, another 2 years, I think it is, something like that. Klopp's not going anywhere anytime soon. Arteta could work out in Arsenal's favour. Who knows? There's some good managers, and of course Jose as well. We can't forget about him. Although we are in season 2, aren't we?
Of Jose, yep. So we know what's coming next.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just live with that one. Yeah, no, we have got the ability to go and be a really, really good side, but there is only certain things that we can do. We're not going to bring in Allegri. He's got no Premier League experience. We're not going to go and bring in some other top managers that are about. We're not going to bring back Carlo or all these names that people probably want to bring in instead of him. We are where we are. We're a decent side. Lampard has got us to be that decent side, but we are at a standard where we can be for now, until we go and become absolute world beaters. And I think Frank Lampard can do that. But it's not as if Lampard's on an absolutely ginormous contract like Jose Mourinho was. When he wasn't performing, he has to go. He has to be sacked. We have to get someone else in. Frank Lampard's on a nice little contract, but he's not an absolute world beater. And I think Roman Abramovich knows that as well. Rav, thank you so much.
Fair play. Cool. So we're eating Christmas dinner tomorrow then. That is really thank you very much, Lil. So you are the guy. And also, if you ever pop round at Chelsea, please come over.
Yeah, we'll buy you a drink.
Yeah, definitely. I owe you a drink now, so come over.
Capri Sun.
Continue what you're saying, bro. That is mad.
Yeah, we're a decent side, and I don't think Lampard's under that much pressure at the moment. No.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's all about circumstance. Like Lampard will look at, Abramovich will look at the season. He'll look at where the team is. Granted, I think the only way we drop out the top 4 is I don't really see 4 teams over the course of the season that could do that much better than us in terms of squad that we have or should. But it will all be a case of circumstance. I think we'd have to go deep in the FA Cup. Champions League, I think we just have to get past the last 16, and Roman Abramovich probably won't say too much because that'll be progression. But it's all about progression for us. I don't really see Frank Lampard being in too much danger, even though, like we've always said, rival fans are really trying to push it. But I really think it's just them trying to unnerve us because we've been in a happy position this entire summer, especially after the transfer ban and also the awful transfer windows that we've had the season before that. I haven't forgotten about the 17-18 season or the 18-19 season where we brought in Sarri in late July for no reason. He had 1 week with his whole first team squad and then getting rid of Courtois like a week before the season opened and Alisson going to Liverpool. We've had some bad times. So nobody's complaining too much. Right now, we're in a very good place. We are moving up. We've had a couple setbacks, but that happens in football. That happens, especially at the top. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have embarrassing performances. And they're also going to make you look bad. And that also comes into another point. Chelsea and the title race. And I don't know what you're thinking about it, but I just wasn't really happy with the fact that people were saying we're out of the title race a good, 3 days ago, just because we lost to
yesterday morning we were out of the title race.
Yeah, and now we're back in 5th place. We could be 2nd place if results go away against Arsenal. Are we still out of the title race now?
Did you notice who the people were saying that we were out of the title race?
There was a couple Chelsea fans, but you're going to say rival fans, aren't you?
Yeah, all rival fans. You're always going to get a few knobhead Chelsea fans. This is the thing. Oh, lovely. Jesus, you're raking it in today, Lewis, I tell you.
I can't lie. This is crazy. But guys, I love you all.
We're getting a large kebab tomorrow.
Yeah, everything. A big love.
We might fork out for KFC rather than chicken shop, boss man.
At this point, we're going Nando's, man. You think the factor of the Premier League is getting tougher?
Two bastards sitting on a park fence, just like, oh, don't mind me.
Anything fun?
Right, lemon and herb.
Suit and tie and shit. What did you say? Do you think the factor of the sorry, just one sec. Do you think
go for it.
Getting tougher and tougher every season that made Roman Abramovich calmer than previous years? No, I think it's just a Champions League. Like, the one thing Roman wanted was that Champions League trophy, and that's the reason why he was being so ruthless about it. That's half the reason why Di Matteo got even given an extra contract. And the reason for that is also because he got sacked like 3 months straight afterwards. The Champions League was so big to him, he gave him a new contract just based on it. So that's also why he slowed down. And you could see it in our spending as well. We got very sustainable after that season. Like, getting rid of players to bring in new players instead of just spending and spending and spending. So yeah, I definitely think it's more the Champions League. Also, Warnock. Oh mate, man.
I love Neil Warnock. To be fair, I do love Neil Warnock.
Yo, I'm loving Salt more. I can't lie, but yeah, Warnock is class. I'd look more for Hiddink though if things don't work well with Lampard, but we gave him that Vesper anyway. What were you saying anyway before?
I
me a little bit.
It was about rival fans in the title race. That was it. Yeah, no, we're in a nice little spot, but it's not that deep. Do you know what I mean? I think, you know, we're 14 games in or whatever it is. I think Man United are 13 games in and Man City are 13 games in. You know, we are roughly about, we're not, oh, hang on, bad maths there. No, we are. We are pretty much just over a third of the way through. There's still 2/3 to go. Arsenal are currently relegation candidates at the moment. If the season finished today, they'd have just survived the drop. No one was expecting that.
Oh,
damn. We can get Europe. You know, that's just the way that it will go.
I'll be back.
How about you, Lewis?
You good? Well,
Lewis?
Your face has disappeared. No, crap. I think Craigo was frozen again. Wait, give him a couple seconds. Nah, Craigo's frozen. Hey, Craigo will be back in a little minute. But guys, until then, drop your questions down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Craigo will be back in 1 second, or I'll just drop you out. Come back in, bro. There we go. Whoa. There we go. You good? Connection's mocking it, isn't it? Yeah, he's probably just going to drop back out and come back in. But until then, guys, drop your questions down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Craigo will be back in a minute, but let me know your thoughts on Chelsea for the rest of the season. Let me know your thoughts on Timo Werner as well, because that was a big part of what this video is going to be. Are you guys still believing in Timo Werner the same way that we are? Or are you lot actually got a different opinion and you want to try and speak it? Because I want to hear different opinions. I want to hear what you guys are thinking. I am playing the patient game with Timo Werner, but it has been a very peak couple of weeks for him. I don't know what happened since that Germany international break, because we've seen 2 Timo Werners, the one before then and the one straight afterwards. Here we go. Do you think we need to rest Werner? He ain't going to rest for the Arsenal match, if we're going to be real about it. We could say, yay, that he probably should get a game off. I probably would have rested him for the West Ham game, but hindsight is 2020. If he does get a rest, it's very likely to be the Aston Villa game. I don't see him playing both those matches, but he is going to play that Arsenal game. It's probably going to be Giroud, Werner, and Christian Pulisic. What else is everyone saying? Thoughts on Declan Rice's price? I would take Declan Rice. He had a good game, but I wouldn't take him for 80 million. And I don't think we'd get him for 80 million either. We have marine attacks, and that will count for at least 20 million or another player as well. Yep, Craigo is back. What are you saying, bro?
No idea what happened there. No idea. I'm plugged into an Ethernet cable as well.
It is what it is. It happens, man. But yeah, do you still remember what you were on about?
Yeah, about rival fans and about what's going to go on. Yeah, you know, currently Arsenal are still relegation candidates if the season finished today. I still think they're going to finish in the top half. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. You know, we were saying about Liverpool, one player, Van Dijk, they lost out on, and, you know, suddenly they weren't going to finish inside the top 4. Anything can happen. To say that we're completely out of the title race at the moment, it's stupid. Even if we had have lost the game yesterday, we still wouldn't have been out of the title race. Would have been probably tougher, but we're not out of it. Not out of it at all. Until it is mathematically impossible, we are not out of it. Realistically, you probably know by about February time. We are currently in December, and the season started late. So let's not worry too much about where we are at the moment. Other fans would try and say that we're in it to try and put pressure on us. Certain fans will say we're out of it to try and take the pressure away from us. It's still mathematically possible, so we still have to go for it. That's the bottom line.
Exactly. And it's not even to a point where we're 20 points away or anything like that. Because
Yeah.
even at this point last season, Liverpool were miles clear of us. And also heavy cap attacks, like we will continue to push because we know that it is true. And it is statistically provable as well. So cap attacks does exist.
Yeah.
But yes, the fact is Liverpool were miles clear of us last season. Now we're, what are we, 7, 8 points? I think it's less than that. Or I don't know, I'll check. It's like 5 to 8 points away from them. That is massively doable, especially with Liverpool's injury record. Yeah, they've done well without the injuries, and that is fine. That they have a great team. And even regards to what we're saying, Liverpool are still the favourites for the Premier League the Premier League title. Anything can happen. Right now, we have 8 teams that are looking at that Premier League title and thinking, yeah, why not? And you know what? That's the mentality I've had this entire season. Until we are, I'm going to say, 10 to 12 points away from the title.
Yeah.
No reason to think why not, because that can change in a couple games. 2 losses back to back and we're out of the title race. 1 win and we're now back in the title race. Anything can happen.
Exactly. Everton's a classic example of them. They were flying high. They had a couple of iffy games and whatever. And then all of a sudden, now they're back in. I think they were 4th. I don't know if they still are or not, but they were 4th at one point and no one batted an eyelid. It's just, they're just there. They're just existing kind of thing. But everyone thought, oh, yeah, this is going to be the time. Thanks for coming, Everton. See you later. Southampton, they might drop. And I'll give, hold my hands up to that. That one's probably likely to happen. But you have to have players of quality. And Chelsea have got them. Everton have got them. Tottenham have got them. Man United have got them. Liverpool have got them. Arsenal have got them. Man City have got them. Leicester have got them. Even Wolves have got them. They've got players of quality. And so until it's mathematically possible, I could see all those teams still in a title race. Whether they're going to win it is a different matter, but they're definitely in a title race.
And one thing we've got as well is depth. And that's the one thing we spoke so much before the season starts. And I'm not going to take that away, even when we're saying Timo Werner's playing in his wrong position. Because fact is, he is still versatile, but I want to see him in his best position.
Yeah.
But the fact is also, we have depth. We have depth in multiple positions. I think the only place where I would be very worried if we lost a player would be in goal. Other than that, I'm not even that worried too much. And I was going to say Petr Cech, but I remember that Spurs game. He's still coming back to it. So we'll keep quiet on the Cech prop for now.
Yeah.
Let me see a couple of your questions because you lot did drop them. Thanks for the donation as well, by the way. Any January transfers? I'll be real. I don't really see us making a lot of moves in January.
No.
It feels like one of them windows. Like the 2017 one where literally nothing happened the entire month.
Yeah. I think if anything's going to happen, it's going to be something so minuscule in terms of who we bring in. Maybe there's a thought about how much depth we've got at the winger position because we have got 3 natural wingers for 2 positions. But again, Werner can play there, but maybe that happens. But I don't see us breaking the bank for someone. I really don't see it happening. We all know we want Rice. West Ham aren't going to sell him because they're quite good at the moment. And also we wait until the summer, we get another year off the transfer fee as well. So I don't think too much is going to happen. I think it's going to be one of them windows where it all kind of blows over and then we all go, oh, okay, that was it. So I'm not too worried. I don't think anything's going to happen. I'm not banking on it.
Yeah, especially with the way that the pandemic, or I don't even know if I can still say it anymore, but the way that's impacted the whole of football this year with transfers and people not being able to reach transfer fees for certain players, it is not happening midway through the season. Like Declan Rice, for an example, West Ham were 1 point behind us before that game, and they were relegation candidates at the start of the season. No way are they getting rid of their best player. And he had a great performance yesterday. It was a great audition by him.
Yeah, no, I'm really impressed by Declan Rice. I think, I said it quite publicly. I think he's the missing piece of the puzzle. I really do. I think Kante's good, but how long are you going to get of him? I'm not too sure. If you could go and get Declan Rice, and we've got the money to be able to go and get Declan Rice, he's going to be the natural successor to that defensive midfield role. And I think pairing with Mason Mount, who I think they want to make into a number 8, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting.
By the way, another amazing performance by Mason Mount. Assisted the first goal, pre-assisted the other 2, and he had the most chances created all game yet again. What a performance!
And people were saying that he was going to be dropped for the comment there from Ben. He was going to be the man that was dropped for Havertz. He was going to be the one. So, I mean, how did that work out?
Any player would have been Kovacic for me. And
Yeah,
Kovacic is
a lot of people
excellent
were
as
saying that
well.
Kovacic actually had to get in and whatever, but I think that's because they didn't really know what sort of a system we were going to use and how we were going to play and whatever. But before the season started, a lot of people had Mount dropping out. He wasn't going to be the one that was. He was going to be the one that never featured, and he's just proven again and again and again how he is one of Chelsea's best players, and there's no way of denying that.
Yeah, Mason Mount, like we've already spoken so many times about how
Yeah.
key he is to the way Chelsea move and the way they press on and off the ball. It's got to a point where no one can be slandering Mason Mount at this point.
No.
The guy's energy levels, the amount of ground that this guy covers game in and game out, the speed that he moves, he is a ridiculous player and he's so key to the scene. Like, we speak about it too much. I'm trying not to go round and round in circles. Massively important player. And he's shutting up his haters week in and week out.
Yeah, we did a preview, didn't we, outside Stamford Bridge for, I think it was the Man United game. Cheeky Sport Joel was there and whatever. And I was banging on about Mason Mount. I do really think that he is one of the best talents that we've got. They were comparing him to Greenwood and saying Greenwood was better and whatever. We're seeing Greenwood have a little bit more of a focal point for Man United. He obviously is one of the big parts of their attacking three. Mason Mount's really showing why he is a better player, technical player than Mason Greenwood, and he's becoming a bigger part of this Chelsea team as someone like Mason Greenwood is for Man United. You know, I think he's one of the best. Yeah, and I'll stand by it. I'll hold my neck on the line for this one. Mason Mount is Oh, there we are. There we are. Mason Mount is by far one of the best young players I've ever seen, ever seen, and I really think he's going to go very, very high.
That's not a big statement. That's just facts. Like, we told you since day one, invest in Mason Mount stocks. And if you haven't done it now, that is a shame. The train has left the station, but there's still time to watch from far. Bendo, this is a very interesting point that we didn't talk about, and I didn't even really think about. Kai Havertz, more of a problem than Timo Werner. Now, I'm not sure how much I would agree with that, but we'll discuss it anyway. Yeah. Kai Havertz, he's had a slow start to Premier League season, but I'd actually say it's more understandable than Timo Werner's. Werner's is also understandable as well, with him being moved all over the front three this entire season. But Kai Havertz had to assimilate as well. I've also spoken numerous times on this channel about Kai Havertz's numbers in the second half of the season compared to the first half of the season. He's guaranteed to ball out as soon as it turns to 2021, and I can't wait to see it personally. But him coming back from Rona, him having a lot of symptoms as well, he was not asymptomatic in any way. He was massively impacted by the virus, and that's had an impact as well as assimilating into the Premier League and also being played at a number 8 for long periods, which we did say he was versatile as well, and I am still holding that to him, but he's a number 10. He likes being around the attacking third more. He can drive forward with the ball. He can progress it from the defensive third to the attacking third. But then, are you going to ask him to deliver the key pass as well? I mean, you are asking a lot of this player. And I think this is one that definitely needs a lot more patience, because I've said various times on here as well, he is the most likely to be generational out of all the signings that we've made.
Yeah, I mean, Timo Werner's older as well. That's another thing that should be taken into consideration.
He was older than I thought.
Yeah. I've been quite public about my Havertz comments and whatever. I like him a lot. I was very, very happy when we signed Kai Havertz. I think he's going to be a really, really nice player for us. The fee surprised me a bit, I can't lie. But I do think he's going to be a really nice player for Chelsea. Is he going to hit the ground running? No, I never thought that he was going to hit the ground running. And there is the pressure on him to do it. 72 million. Let's look at Pepe, Arsenal, perfect example. He big transfer, little bit older. He was the star man at Lille when he was there before. He comes in, whatever. He doesn't hit the ground running for Arsenal. People are looking at him saying he's a flop and this, blah, 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 blah. He's older, so I think that's quite fair. You know, have the criticism, be a little bit harsh on him if you want. But with Kai Havertz, he is still so young. You've got no idea what's going to happen with him. I don't think he started that well. That's fine. That's okay, because I haven't brought him for this season. I brought him for the next 5 seasons. And if we get one out of him that's bad, but then we get 4 out of him that are absolutely unreal and absolutely amazing, which could be the next 4 years, then fine, I don't give a shit. It's well worth the money that we've paid for him. So yeah, I'm not too worried. And also the other thing about Kai Havertz, he is young. We know that. Everyone knows that. It's well documented. Even if it comes to the end of his Chelsea life, whatever, age 25, let's say he's got a 5-year deal, isn't he? 5 years? Something like that. Yeah. 5-year deal, 4 years on, 24 years of age, 25 years of age, whatever you want to say. Just like that, he ain't the right person for us. He's not going to work out between us. That's fine. We're still going to get 50 million quid plus for him. And probably by the time the market comes round, we're probably likely to get exactly what we paid for him back. So I really ain't too worried about. Yeah, I really ain't too worried about that big fee. Only time will tell whether he really makes the mark. I think he will. I think he's got the ability to. But the transfer fee just needs to be disregarded. It's money at the end of the day, and Chelsea are going to make it back in other areas anyway.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. I echo literally every one of those words. It is a long game with Kai Havertz. It isn't going to be a massively long game, but I've already said second season Kai Havertz is going to be the one, and he's going to be making everyone eat their words. And I'm more than happy to hear Kai Havertz slander right now. Because it's the same thing with Timo Werner, where it's just rival fans getting it all out the way now because they know they're going to be eating their words afterwards. I understand the game. We all did the same thing with Bruno Fernandes in January. We slandered him. We said he was dead baller. He was just Fernandes, penalty merchant. He's a class player. And we all knew that from the start. But you know what? If he's going to be a jammy little penalty merchant for 6 months, I'm going to call him out for being a jammy little penalty merchant for 6 months.
Jealousy. Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah. As long as you accept it, we do it the other way around. Same thing happens all the time with other players. As long as you do it and accept it, and when it happens to you, you're able to accept it, then fine, who gives a shit?
Exactly. The game is the game, and as soon as you understand what the game is, the less you let it get to your head.
Yeah.
Any other question? Jorginho. Okay, interesting. Man said Jorginho's unseasoned food. That's mad. Can we not play this guy once Kovacic and Kante are both healthy? I really don't. Here's the thing. I thought Jorginho's first half was good, but he definitely faded out. I
don't know if I agree with you on that one. I thought for this master passer, he gave the ball away way too many times, and he put people under pressure. And I think a lot of that was probably come from a little bit of unfamiliarity with the team and passing in the wrong areas, and a little bit kind of match sharpness had fallen out the window. That's why I'd sell him. Because, I mean, there's no guarantee that when he comes into the game for this master passer that he's going to be to kill down the game and whatever, that we're going to get the same player that we're expecting. Flip side of that, though, look, he does certain things well. He does keep the ball well. He does play some nice passes as well, especially going forward. He plays some lovely balls. But am I willing to accept that for what could potentially lead to goals and chances against us? No.
Here's the thing. I really thought first half he wasn't that bad. Second half, I'm not going to try and defend it too much. He got bypassed that second half and he really faded out. First half, though, I mean, I thought we'll talk about Mason Mount and pre-assists. I thought Jorginho's passes to set up crosses, I thought they were really good.
Yeah, no.
I thought he was decent.
You'd be a complete mug to say that he was 100% dreadful. But he still... I still don't see a £55 million player there. I don't. I understand why, and he might be vital to your team, but I don't think he's vital to this Chelsea team. And I thought Kovacic, when he came on, looked Jorginho like an absolute mug, to be honest, because the way that he absolutely spun Declan Rice and he was passing forward was
That's
great.
Fair, but I'd say Kovacic, he's an excellent option to bring off the bench, especially when you're 1-0 up. He's perfect.
Kovacic is so good. He is so good. I've said it multiple times. He's the dog's bollocks. The only thing is, and you do have to be real.
I remember that from his debut as well.
Yeah, straight up, I'll say it. He's the absolute dog's bollocks.
For the fan cam, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think you were behind the camera then. You're still doing a pictures job. No, but look, he is the dog's bollocks. He is. He is very much a Premier League player. What a steal he was for 40 million quid, and obviously we had him on loan for the first year as well. He is a good player, and he is going to have a part to play in this Chelsea team. Yeah, I look at Kovacic, and I think in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, I don't actually know how old Kovacic is off the top of my head. But for the next 5 years or so, 3, 4, 5 years, when his legs do go, he's going to turn into more of a Jorginho-like character. But he's got the upper body strength. He's got that power. He's got that aggression to be able to get stuck in and get involved as well. I think if you were to let Kovacic go, you'd be doing yourself a massive shafting. Massive shafting. He's so good. He is so good.
That's one I definitely haven't heard yet, and I'm glad I haven't. Kovacic definitely isn't leaving. The Jorginho one, we've been accepting of it for a while. I've said Billy Gilmour's injury has been the only thing that's kept Jorginho still at Chelsea. That and the fact that no one's been willing to pay our valuation fee for him. But Jorginho is definitely on his way out. He's going to be leaving. The only good thing is he's been a good sport about it, so I can respect that. But
yeah, he is a professional. You do have to give credit where it's due. He's definitely a professional.
Any final questions from you guys before we wrap this up? Someone said keep Gilmour alone, Gilmour. He's likely going on loan to Rangers, isn't he?
Yeah, I heard that rumor kind of flying around or something. But again, look, he'll win a league title there. So
yeah, I don't mind. I just want him to get regular game time because the guy is too class to be sitting on the bench for that long.
I think saying about also the January transfer, we were saying about a lot of people coming in. Thank you very much. Not a lot of people coming in. I think there will be a fair few people going out. So yeah, I'm just accepting of that as well.
Yeah, same. That's just gonna happen, and I'm calm with it. Yeah. Kovacic crosswise always drop. That's just rotation, bro. Like, I don't really mind. Kovacic off the bench is class. That's why I don't mind too much about it. That's an excellent substitution to make.
Completely agree.
That was the one I wanted to see. Emerson coming in for Chilwell for the Christmas period. Now, I'm not going to say too much because he had a good game yesterday. He had a good game against, what was that team? Sevilla as well.
Yeah.
But I know Emerson. I've been tricked too many times by this guy. I know he's inconsistent, and I know he's going to drop a 4 out of 10 sooner or later. Just please, if you're going to do that, be the Aston Villa game. Actually, no, be the Arsenal game and not the Villa game, because that's the game where we could more afford it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like Emerson. I think he's got great forward qualities. I even said potentially about playing him left wing at one point. If things were ever got really that bad. But I like him. I like him. Not starting material week in, week out, but for now, I like him and he's a good option. Chilwell's obviously definitely the better player. But I think one of the big things about this week coming up, and of course the Arsenal game, which we'll kind of briefly touch on, it's going to be a tough old game, whether people want to accept it or not. They're going to make it difficult for us. Thank God there's going to be no fans there as well. That's a fucking right bonus. To be fair, the Emirates would still sound like a fucking library anyway. But I mean, the main thing I kind of want to say about Emerson and about Reece James as well is in the cup final, we got found out when Aubameyang just absolutely ran past and absolutely annihilated Dave. We got found out, and obviously Dave ended up pulling his hamstring doing it as well, which is gutting. If Emerson does the wrong thing and goes forward at the wrong time, there is potential for us to get found out. So I don't see us playing this really free-flowing, attacking style of football with Emerson in the team. I do think it'll be a little bit more of a reserved game.
Why is Reece got to be injured, man? I want a massacre, you know.
But to be fair, at least the same thing. Reece James going forward, he could bomb on as well. If he got caught out, we could be in trouble. At least with Dave, you know that he's going to stay back. And if he does go forward, there is going to be people there to cover him. We are going to be able to drop someone back. And I said it last night in my review. I said it in the phone as well. We need probably a little bit more height in the centre midfield. Declan Rice also could drop back in and play as a back three if ever we got caught out or something along those lines. That's why we need someone versatile like him, but that's a different matter. We have got a very good side, a very good squad, and I keep banging on about it, but it's still not perfect. It's good, but it's not quite as good as it could be. And I think Emerson is a prime example of that. A real solid backup left back is pretty much Emerson. But we all know that a pretty good backup goalkeeper option for us in Willy Caballero still has clangers every now and again. So I'm not too happy that, of course, Chilwell's out. But at least, hey, look, last night we couldn't have planned for Chilwell being out and getting injured 10 minutes into the game. Maybe now we've got, 3 days, 4 days? I can't even remember what date we're on. 3 days pretty much prep. we can start to use Emerson, and there can be a little bit more kind of familiarity, smashed it, in that back four with Emerson in, where last night I felt like that massively lacked. So we've got a few days to work on it. Emerson's good, but not the finished product. And I think that we're going to be able to deal with it. But are we going to go massively exceed our expectations? Probably not.
Yeah, I hear that. Big up Ryan in the chat. Arsenal score predictions. Now we've already said with the issues to the fullbacks, we're probably not going to be as gung ho going forward. So is it maybe a 1 or 2-0 sort of game? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, I'd say 2-0. I'd say 2-0. I think Arsenal have definitely got the ability to score, and again, it massively depends on if Aubameyang's playing.
Yeah, he could be out of that.
Yeah, well, he's out of tonight. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard anything more, but yeah, it's one of those strange ones. Like, I can't lie. It's if he's out, then a whole game plan changes. You have to start thinking about other people. Saka's going to have pace. Pepe's got pace. William, when he wants to, has pace. Lacazette's got pace. All these people, they're all fast going forward. So it doesn't change that drastically. But you know that you need to be very solid in one area, which is at which basically wherever Aubameyang is. If he's out, then the whole thing changes. Who's going to play? We don't know. Depends what sort of team they put out, which I think the team news is meant to be coming out about any time now for that Arsenal game later.
There's 7:45 kick-off for an 8.
I can't remember, honestly. I didn't really pay much attention. I must be honest. But yeah, no, it depends on what sort of a team they put out. But I think 2-0 is probably pretty much fair. I think, again, if we get a goal in the first half and we can go and grab one in the second, they'll probably bring a little bit more pressure onto us, and then we'll kind of create chances and whatever. I think it'll be very similar to the game at the Bridge last season. That's my honest opinion. It was just a case of...
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah, I know. But I feel that's going to be the way that it is. Arsenal were the underdogs in that game, and they're going to try and bide the time, and then bang, all of a sudden they're going to try and do it on the counter attack and whatever. I'm not too worried about it because I think we are better than we were last season, and I don't think Arsenal are a hell of a lot better now than they were last season. So it's a very fine one, but I think 2-0 is a very sensible prediction.
Yeah, like I've said it before, I want to see us absolutely pam them, but we know we rely a lot on our fullbacks, and we're now without both of them, so that's not happening. Maybe Reece James comes back for the Arsenal game because we know he's not out; he's just being benched as a precaution.
Yeah,
so he could come back for one or the other. I mean, I'd prefer to see him in the Arsenal game than the Aston Villa game. Azpilicueta can be fine enough for that match. I'm not worried about either fullback. But we know Azpilicueta's limitations, and we know how to play to his strengths. So I'd rather not, especially 2 games a week as well, and he's barely had any game time. It'll probably hit him harder than we expect him to. But other than that, Arsenal should be a battering. If we even get a draw against these guys, it would be absolutely embarrassing. But we're not going to talk too much on it. We have a very heavy week of previews. You guys will be seeing myself and yours truly on AFTV tomorrow, where we're going to have to defend the blue name again. And you know what? It's going to be fun after the summer. I cannot wait. The only thing that'll be worse will be the game. But Craigo, last thoughts?
Up the Chelsea. And I have to say, I normally say up the Chelsea. What we on? What's the date today? We are on the 22nd. If we don't speak to you beforehand, Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a very Merry Christmas, whatever the hell it is you're doing.
Yes, guys. You guys will probably... Actually, you might see Craig go back. We'll probably get you in for a Chelsea-Arsenal preview because I'm planning on getting a little group around. But if not, guys, smash the like button and the subscribe button on Craigo28 Football and Craigo28 Sports. The link to Craigo's channel is literally in the title. So if you just press his name, it'll send you straight to his channel. Ooh. And you can check out his content as well. So please check that out. Guys, as well, if we don't see you before, even though we probably will, please have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you on Boxing Day for the massacre at the Emirates Stadium. But until then, guys, hit that like button, press that subscribe button, smash the bell notification, get the hat trick like Timo Werner is going to be bagging at the Emirates in 4 days. And we will see you guys tomorrow because it's a very juicy day. Guys, take care, like and subscribe. Up the Chelsea.